Welcome to the Alliance Connection, a podcast by the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance. Each week, we bring you insights on business, economic development, and community growth in the Greater Fort Dodge region. Our focus is to drive progress, support local businesses, and enhance the quality of life in our area. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Astra Ferris, and we're so excited to have you tuned in to the Alliance Connection.
And I'm Katie Grobe, Marketing Specialist at the Growth Alliance.
So, Katie, we have a lot of cool things coming up, but I'm excited to welcome, we have Chad Schaeffer from the city of Fort Dodge here. Hey, Chad.
Afternoon, everybody.
Welcome, welcome. So before we get into all the cool things that you get to share with our listeners today, we've got a lot of events happening, right, Katie?
We sure do. February is a poppin' month for the Growth Alliance.
I feel like it's just fast and furious. Here we are, we're already in February, 2026 is just coming right out of here.
Like January, where did it all, it felt like the longest month, but also the shortest month all at the same time.
Agree.
Yeah. So this Friday, February 6th, which is also my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Come and say happy birthday to Katie.
Come say happy birthday. Have some coffee, some pastries.
Nice.
And just connect with people. So it's a free event. Anybody can come.
Yep.
If you register, we know how many pastries to have. So that's helpful.
That is helpful.
Yeah. And we'd love to see you there.
Nice. And that's just 8:30 to 10?
8:30 to 10 at the Growth Alliance.
Nice. I love that. So, and you don't have to be a member. Anybody can come.
Yep.
And connect with some local leaders and other business folks.
Absolutely. And then, how do you not talk about annual dinner?
Yay,
February
so excited.
26th.
Yes.
Doors open at 5. We start kicking things off at about 6.
Chad, do you already have your table reserved?
We do.
You're in like Flynn.
I believe the city has 2 tables.
I think
awesome.
you do have 2 tables.
Yeah.
I think I saw that.
Thank you, City of Fort Dodge. Yay.
Yes. Woo.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So 400 of all of our favorite friends.
But there's still room. So if you haven't registered, you can totally get in, right?
Yes. We still have room. You still have time. You can even still probably order a dress if you need to.
Or come as you are.
Or come as you are.
love it.
You'll see all kinds.
I know. I think a lot of people say like, "Oh, is this super fancy? What do I have to do for the Growth Alliance Annual Dinner?" And we always say you're going to have folks that are in jeans and a cowboy hat. You're going to have folks that are in black tie or just what they wore to work that day. And all are totally fine with us.
Yeah. No dress code. Just come as you are.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Joey Coleman, who is also our keynote speaker for annual dinner, is going to do a workshop the next morning from
9 to noon?
9 to noon,
Okay.
Iowa Central BHS building.
Nice.
And that one is definitely going to be more of like a workshop feel, and you're going to take some things back and have some actionable items.
I love
for
that.
sure.
First 100 people that register get a book, which we're getting close to that. So I hope if you haven't registered already, make sure you do that. We've got space up to 250 people. So we're excited for that.
Yeah.
But $25 to register and you get a $40 book. What a value.
Right? Like, hop on that.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah. So that's what we have coming up.
I love it. I love it. And as always, community calendar, check it out. And you can stay up to date with all of our members' information. There's just something going on all the time around the Fort Dodge region, which is super cool.
Literally.
So, Chad Schaeffer. Chad, speaking of around our region, I feel like there's also a lot of projects going on. And when you look around, it looks a little different than it did a couple years ago. And I feel like you had a hand in some of that. So,
A little bit, yes.
yeah. Do you want to start with just tell us a little bit about you and how long you've been in your role at the city and what you do?
Okay. Yeah, so my title is Chief Development Officer. And I'll be honest, that's a title that I made up myself.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
Because I don't really know what I do.
Yeah.
I do a lot of different things. So, but 18 years ago, the city hired me as the city engineer. and in charge of the engineering department and all the construction projects that happen across the city. I always like to joke that if you see yellow cones or orange cones and barricades on the street, it's my fault.
It's also a sign of progress, however.
It is, yes. Yep. That inconvenience is my fault, but we're going to make it better. So,
that's right.
that's kind of the engineering side. And then over my career, over the last 18 years with the city, I've kind of morphed into economic development and community development work, and just a myriad of different things. Sometimes I seem like an assistant finance director, looking for funding to do these projects.
How do we make this all work?
Right, the money makes the world go round, so you have to find that money to do these projects. So do a lot of that work too.
That's awesome.
Are you from Fort Dodge originally?
I am not.
Good question.
No, actually, I'm from South Dakota.
What part?
Very north central.
How did you get here?
Yeah.
So first 10 years of my life lived in Eureka, South Dakota.
Ooh, never heard of it.
I have.
Is it cool?
I don't know. I've never been there, but
You've heard of it.
It was like one of the things that we learned in a song when I was in elementary school.
Really?
Really random.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Find that song. Huh?
Yeah. So then my family moved to Garner, Iowa when I was 10, and went to junior high and high school there. And then went back to South Dakota to go to South Dakota State to get my civil engineering degree, and was lucky enough that South Dakota State was only about 30 miles away from my grandparents' house, so I had a built-in job as I was going to school. Yeah. So able to do that, and then lived in Iowa ever since, and lived in Ankeny for 5-6 years, Algona for 5 years, and now Fort Dodge for 18. So
that's awesome. That's crazy. My grandpa lives in Garner.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a great small town. 3,000 people. Yep. Kind of tell people that it's kind of nestled in that cool little spot between Winnebago Industries and Clear Lake and Mason City, and the lake people and all that. So Garner's
you're kind of right in that sweet spot where you don't have to deal with the Clear Lake traffic every day.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
That's cool. So out of the last 18 years, you've worked on a lot of different projects that I think folks just sometimes think things just happen. Like, that's I'm so glad that's there. That just happened. But as you know, there's a lot of planning, and there's a lot of partners that are involved with just making things happen. Yep. So I know that we've worked alongside together on various projects throughout the last couple of years. But out of 18 years, what is your favorite project so far?
Wow. Wasn't prepared for that one.
Let me throw you off script.
Yeah. I mean, just the whole mall project and the mall redevelopment has just been out of the box for me. Being an engineering guy and an engineering mind, that redevelopment and really taking a plan and a vision of what that space could look like, and then see it come to transformation with all the cool businesses out there, and the pavilion, the sports pavilion out there, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just it's really cool to kind of see it go from paper to reality. And so that's probably one of the things I'm most proud of. That's
awesome. And I mean, also, I love going in that district and shopping and hanging. It's just neat to see another thing happening. And I know that there's hopefully more things on the horizon. Yes. Can you tell us any tidbits, or is it still top secret?
I cannot. It's got to be top secret for a little while.
No spoiler alerts here.
No spoiler alerts. But stay tuned, because there'll be a lot of stuff, right?
Absolutely. Yep. There's more to come.
That is awesome. And that's really, if you want to talk a little bit about that reinvestment district, because that was the state of Iowa's 17 million. Was it that we got from the state?
Yep.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how that works? Or I know sometimes you hear folks like, well, why are we getting a Chick-fil-A, or do we need it? And can you kind of maybe talk about the process of some of that? Because I think normal folks just don't understand, like, well, why did they come and not this one? And what's the city doing for this one and not this one? Can you kind of maybe give us a generalized overview?
Yeah. I mean, we were lucky enough in 2019 to work with a developer out of the Des Moines area. And we kind of had this shared vision, I guess, of what that space could look like.
Yeah.
Whether it was retail, restaurants, sporting. We started off with housing in that space also, and that kind of got moved to the side, but kind of started with that shared vision first, and then from there, started looking at what does recruitment look like. Again, that's not something the Growth Alliance was really into from a commercial or retail. Recruitment. The city certainly hadn't done that before. So kind of looked into, what does that entail? How does that work? And then just try to find partners really to see what could come together, and, learned a ton about the restaurant business and the retail business and those national retailers. What do they require of before they come to a community, what do they want? And so, just some of the statistics out there that are, a national restaurant chain, they want a population of 50,000. They want 25,000 cars a day. They want to be on a corner lot, because they want to be visible, all those kinds of things. And so it really became a recruitment, because we had to go tell our story, our Fort Dodge story, our Webster County story, our Northwest Iowa story, because we serve more than just Webster County as a community and as a county. So we really had to create that story and then go tell it to those folks, because they don't know where Fort Dodge, Iowa is. They know where the Des Moines and Iowa cities and those kinds of communities. They know those markets, but they don't know our market. And so having to really go out and tell our story to them and get them to come. And one of the misconceptions is that folks really think that we get to choose who's coming.
Why don't you give Olive Garden a call? That's not really how it works, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do call them,
sure.
But we don't get to say necessarily yes or no. They say yes or no to us. And so we can go give our pitch, but we're not the yes or no part of that equation. Right. It's them saying yes to us.
And everyone is so different.
Yes.
Like their requirements, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They have their demographics. They know who they serve. They've done all the research and analysis and all that stuff, so they know who they can count on to come into their business or their restaurant or whatever. And so it's trying to, create that vision for them.
Yeah.
To want to be here.
Yeah. Well, and I know I came to town. It was I started in September of 2023. I moved here in July, and I remember when I moved here in July of 2023, there was like a big dirt hill, and it was like a mountain of dirt at the mall place, which I never saw the mall before. To a lot of folks that were from here, they were like, the mall, and it was like probably this thing that a lot of people held dear to their hearts. It's something they've always seen, and then now it's like I can't even imagine anything but what's there, because you just get so used to now seeing Chick-fil-A on the corner and seeing all of those things there. And I think that's just super interesting. Can you talk a little bit about some of the sales tax changes that have happened and how that kind of had to work?
Yeah. So as we were going through this visioning process and starting to look at what this space could really look like, it set us up in a perfect timeline with the state of Iowa. They had just announced a second round of what they call the reinvestment program. And so that reinvestment program is a state of Iowa program run through the Iowa Economic Development Authority. And it allows any entity that gets approved to capture sales tax. And so when you're in the state of Iowa and you pay your sales tax when you're at the grocery store or whatever, you're paying 7 cents of sales tax on every dollar spent. And so what this program does is it allows in our case, the city of Fort Dodge to capture 4 cents of that 7 cents for the next 20 years. Okay. And so that's where the state said, you know what, we'll allow you to capture $17 million of that sales tax over the next 20 years. And then you use that $17 million to reinvest, the name of the program, reinvest in your project. Nice. And that's what we've done. And so, we get those checks from the state, those sales tax dollars on a quarterly basis, and our check last quarter was for $308,000. That's an amazing number. That's we collect $5 million of sales tax, of 1 cent sales tax through our local option sales tax for infrastructure projects. That's $5 million a year, but just in that corridor plaza space, because it's just that space, we're we're well on our way to collecting $17 million well before the 20-year time limit is up. And so, and all that is new sales tax. That's the Chick-fil-A's and the AutoZones and the Dairy Queens and the, Maurice's shoes. I can't list them all, but because I'll miss some of them. But
absolutely.
but that's where that sales tax is being generated, and all of that money is going back into that project, into that whole corridor plaza space. So whether it's the pavilion or the outdoor plaza that's going to come to fruition here in the spring of 26, it's just cool to see that transformation.
So what will that look like to the folks that don't necessarily know on? What is that going to be?
Yeah, so there's a space directly north of the sports pavilion that from the get-go, we knew we wanted to have some sort of gathering space, some public space as a part of this, public-private partnership for this whole project. And so it was, what it really looks like is there's going to be a small little stage there with a cover on it to kind of protect the band or speaker or a small little play or a skit. I mean, just whatever could go on there.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the space, there's sidewalks, there's brick pavers, there's colored concrete, there's actually AstroTurf. I call it AstroTurf. That dates me. Artificial turf in the space.
You don't call it that anymore?
Yeah,
okay.
artificial turf, because we wanted that space to have some green to it. But at the same time, if you're going to have an event there and it's raining or it rained the day before, you don't want to have a mud hole there.
Yeah.
And then maintenance, upkeep, and all those other things that come with that. So we decided to go with some artificial turf, so you kind of get that green thing. But it's just a space for people to hang out. So whether they're shopping and they might go to a restaurant and say, I can come over here and have a bite to eat. It might be, they have their kids playing in a volleyball tournament or a basketball or wrestling tournament or something at the pavilion, and they have a couple hours of time between their next event. Well, they can kind of hang out there, and that's, really, that came from some of us being in that world of kids sports for a while.
Yes.
You
want to get outside too if you can.
Yeah. You play at noon and you don't play again until 3. So what are you going to do for 2 hours?
Right.
You have other kids with you most of the time that aren't playing at the same time, or they're not old enough or whatever it might be. So you got to entertain them at the same time. So this provides that space. So
I feel like that's going to be so great for all of the live music too that we have in Fort Dodge. Like,
so much cool live music.
The music
every day.
scene here is insane, and
I
don't feel like everyone knows that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right, you can go to live music 6 nights a week.
Absolutely,
it's just crazy that has evolved in this community. It's just awesome, and we have such amazing artists that you can hear different genres and age groups and whatever that.
And we're getting comedy back too. I feel like now it's also like, oh, go watch a comedy show or go see this art thing. Like there's so much cool stuff happening right now. So that's exciting. So fun with Corridor Plaza. So keep watching for any other announcements, as I know that's always exciting. Yep. And also whenever you see something, know that they put a lot of time and effort to choose to come there, right? Like it wasn't just the city said we want this one or that one. It's a long process.
Yeah, that's the hard part about that is, I mean, we're into year 7 of this project. Yeah. And in back to your point with the dirt hill for a while there. A lot of comments about those about that over about a summer and a half of time there, where that was just the cool thing, I guess, to talk about. But it takes time and effort, and from the public side, it probably looks like it's slow, but from our side, there's always something going on behind the scenes. Recruitment, decision making, funding, whatever it might be.
Right.
So,
and we're really becoming a leader in this space for others across the country to do something like this, because how many, I guess, quote, dead malls are there across the country, right? And so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we've had the opportunity to tell our story to other communities. So Cedar Falls is going through this exact same transformation with their mall actually was called Crossroads Mall also.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Funny.
Yeah. So they are actually going through the same thing. But you look in, just in the state of Iowa, you have Marshalltown, you have Council Bluffs, you have Sioux City. Yeah. I mean, all of those communities that are, similar size to us, maybe a little bit bigger, have them all. They're all struggling. Those those anchor retail businesses have moved on to online shopping or whatever. And so what are you going to do with that space? And so it's been cool to be able to tell our story to others, and hopefully they can be successful too.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Here's a quick word from our sponsors.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.
All right, we're going to shift some gears down to the river. So I love that this has also been in the works for many years. So do you want to kind of talk about that front porch of the river and what our plans are, where we've been and where we're going with that project?
Yeah. So, when I started in 2008, the city was just finishing up a strategic plan called the Envision 2030 plan. Mm-hmm. It's hard to believe that we're saying 2026 and we're almost to 2030 now. But, at the time it seemed like 2030 was a long ways away. But they're kind of finishing up that strategic plan. And then out of that just spurred some other more specific planning documents. So things like the Northwest River District, the Central River District, the Hike and Bike Master Plan, the water trails master plan for the Des Moines River and Lizard Creek. Those were all master plans that kind of came out of that massive strategic plan back in 2006, 2008. And that's really kind of what spurred some of this riverfront redevelopment, was that specific then plan for the riverfront and how to bring people back to the river, because the river, bisects our community, but in the only time you really engage with the river is when you're crossing a bridge.
Right.
Then you look out your window and it's like, oh, there's the river, and you keep driving. You know? So, how do you bring people back to the river? So because
essentially we're a river city.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. We are.
Yep.
But that's not what we're known for.
Right.
Yeah. We used to have a riverboat. I mean, there used to be a paddle boat that came up the Des Moines River back in the day.
That sounds like a good time.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Somebody should buy a riverboat.
Yeah.
Get it rocking and rolling
Growth
again.
Alliance Riverboat. Just kidding. Don't start any rumors, guys. Just kidding. So
I don't think that's in the budget.
Probably not. So also, then we had Matt Cosgrove's River's Edge Discovery Center, which, like many things we do, is a joint city-county project. Talk a little bit about that, and then now what might be going on near that.
Yeah, so we had what we call the Central River District. So it's basically, down the hill from Central Avenue, from downtown, you're going straight down the hill towards the river. And so aptly named the Central River District. And we worked with Webster County Conservation and Webster County in general to do that Discovery Center and to have that site there. That back in the 80s, that was plants. That was manufacturing.
Industrial.
Yeah. So, what that space could be used for? I mean, the city's been mowing grass for 40 years. I think there's something better we can do with that space than that. So,
Very true.
Yeah. So able to partner to put the Discovery Center down there. I think that's a great asset for Webster County and Northwest Iowa. Again, school kids coming in there all the time and learning about the cycle of water and evaporation and condensation and clean water versus dirty water and what that means and how does it get dirty and all that kind of stuff. So really cool opportunity there and come to fruition again. And then just an expansion of that out of that Central River District Master Plan is something that we call the front porch. And so looking at this again, kind of a gathering space. in kind of way I describe it is it's a really large picnic shelter. You have a picnic shelter in a park, and it might have 2 or 3 picnic tables under it. This is a structure that can sit 200 tables or can sit 200 people.
Okay.
So it might be 25 tables under this shelter, so it's a big space. So you could have, a small concert down there. You could have a wedding. You could have a family reunion down there or something like that. And then you'd have this space where they can interact with the river. It's right along the trail system, some of the kids might go over the Discovery Center or whatever, and all of a sudden you have an afternoon of enjoying the company of your family and friends, and we're providing that space. So
that's cool.
and that's we actually just bid that project out. Jensen Builders, so local contractor, was the low bidder on that, and as soon as the weather allows, we'll start construction. So by July and August, we probably will have a really cool space down there.
And so that's the front porch that's coming.
That's called the front porch. And the reason we call it the front porch is because it's not only this covered structure that we've been talking about, there's also industrial swings that are going to be built. And so kind of like
really
that.
The front porch.
It is really, because you're going to have that front porch feel where you have that little bench swing. And so there's planned to be, I think there's 6 of these swings, and they'll be on the back side of this structure, facing the river. So again, you can just kind of enjoy that view, enjoy that riverfront, birds flying around. There's always eagles
much
in the
nature
air.
there.
Yeah.
Even when we're at the Discovery Center, they have those little binoculars for the kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is my favorite activity. Let's go look at the birds.
Yeah.
So how long until that's done?
So we hope that it'll be done about July or August, where we can get that open.
2026. Here we come.
So there's not a lot of construction to that shelter because there's no walls. There's none of that. It's just a roof system with some lighting underneath it and that sort of thing. And then again, no real plans for it. It's just let's kind of see what this space can become for folks. So whether it gets programmed, like I said, for some music or something like that, or maybe it becomes a more of a rentable space for those family
a wedding
reunions
or a reunion, like you said. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit. I know that we've got the Riverfront Development. That's been going for a long time with the hydro dam and all of that. So do you want to touch a little bit how that has evolved? And now we're talking front porch, which is cool. But you want to talk a little bit about some of that involvement?
Yeah. So in 2017, as we're doing this riverfront plan and really trying to figure out how we bring people to the river, it's not only just in the city of Fort Dodge, it's all of the Des Moines River. And another asset that we don't talk about near enough is Blizzard Creek.
Yeah.
It's got when the water is at the right level, some of the best whitewater for canoeing and kayaking in the state. And so that's another, just a cool amenity. And so, what was hindering what we called this water trail, so very similar to a bike trail, it's water trail for your canoes and kayaks. We had 2 hindrances, in our community. We had the hydro dam and we had the little dam, what everybody calls the little dam, by Kenyon Road. And so those really needed to come out to be able to have a really continuous water trail. And so in 2019, we were able to put some funding together to remove both of those dams. And I know that was, pretty controversial at the time. Again, kind of that nostalgia piece. It's always been a part of this community, and to see that go away, I know that was difficult. But I think this was the right decision for the community going forward. To do that, just from a safety aspect. That hydro dam was 17 feet tall. And so very easy for somebody to get caught up in that backwater and that turbulence and whatever. And, a bad result would occur.
Yeah,
so
no kidding.
It was really time to do that, because the hydro dam, the reason it's called hydro dam, it used to produce hydroelectricity. And so, but it hadn't produced electricity since the early 1970s. And so it had been sitting there again for 50 years almost, in several feasibility studies and everything later. It just wasn't going to work out. So it was time for that to move on and create this water trail. And And so now we've been able to put funding together to do some work there at the Central River District with fishing jetties and things. Yeah. The Little Dam area, there's actually 7 fishing jetties down there, because that was one of the promises that we made to the fishing community, was that, they had really good fishing, at those locations where the dams were, but this was going to provide that new opportunity to get down to the river, provide some actual parking, because they would just park wherever they could and walk down there. So actually provide a parking lot, ADA accessibility, so everybody can get down there and enjoy the riverfront, all those kinds of things. So that's pretty cool that we've been able to do that. And then, so that was, kind of that Little Dam area, and then the Central River District, but we still have really the hydroelectric park to redevelop. I mean, there's a really cool opportunity there. We have some cool concepts where, where the powerhouse used to be, it's just kind of this flat little landing now. And so if we can utilize that, and then there's still where one of the gates were for the dam, you put concrete over the top of that, you could have a little lookout, and actually stand over top of the river, so let the river come underneath you. Again, it's just kind of a cool experience of being on top of the river, gives you a little closer to it, and just again, enjoy the river.
Provide a different experience.
Absolutely. Yep.
I love that. That's so cool. Yeah. I feel like sometimes, like you said, this has been going on with many plans for many years, and sometimes it just progresses slowly. Right. And so then folks don't always see that, oh my gosh, this is happening, and that some of this is already complete, and then there's more to come.
Right. Yeah. I mean, with that Riverfront plan was 2017. So again, we're almost a decade into this thing. And you see kind of the fruits of the labor here, but there's a lot of dead time when people don't see anything going on. And then just from a funding standpoint, it's just, for any of these projects, it's not one funding source. It's just not the city. It's just not the county. It's, with the Discovery Center and the Central River District and all that, I think Matt Cosgrove and I work a lot together on all these projects. And great friend, love to work with him. But I think we have like 12 different funding sources. Wow. Because we're basically this whole thing with bike trails and everything else. It's a $22 million project. I mean, all that money doesn't come from one place. So I think, as we kind of looked at all the different things that we've been able to try to find funding for, I think there's like 12 different sources. So again, that's pretty challenging to try to time everything up. And can we use this money to do this and this money to do that? And, we got to wait a couple of years because this, environmental rules and all the other things we have to follow, just it makes it very complicated, but it's really cool to see at the end of the day.
That is so cool. I'm just excited to hear about how things evolve. And, I see firsthand, because of our working relationship, how projects get done and how there's so many moving parts to get something like a fishing jetty or something like that happens done. And it's just neat to share with, I guess, our listeners and everybody that's viewing in some of these processes, because it's a lot of work and time. And thank you for always working collaboratively with our partners to make sure that we can, have cool things and make sure we can get, down to the river and just things like that.
Yeah, it's amazing to just have great partners throughout the community, whether it's the private businesses that want to be sponsors, or even our trips out to Washington, D.C. To talk to the federal government and Army Corps of Engineers and whoever it might be to try to piecemeal these projects together, because there's really good ideas out there. It's really hard to make them come to fruition.
How do you get the money to fund?
Yes, yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to share with some of the folks that might be tuning in on some of the things that your department's maybe working on?
Yeah, so it's going to be, just from an engineering side, it's going to be another busy year. A lot of conversation about 15th Street reconstruction.
Oh, yeah.
Last year. And we're kind of putting the pieces together there. We're still not to a bid letting yet, so not quite sure when that's going to occur. But so we hope that that reconstruction project for 15th Street will happen in 26. But the potential there it might move to 27, but we'll see. But big projects like that, we're always doing other street work around the community. there's still the mantra out there, fix our streets. Well, we're continuing to fix the streets
Those
slowly
potholes,
but
they
surely.
just keep coming back.
I know. Yeah.
It's the snow.
It's the snow.
We live in Iowa. We're
Yeah.
going to have potholes. So
That's right.
Gotta
That's
learn
right.
to
what it
dodge
is.
them, guys.
Yeah.
Nice. So if somebody wants to know, like, if they want to know what road might be closed, is there a schedule, or is there a place is it social media the best place that folks should look, or where is the place to look for stuff like that?
Yeah, it's really the City of Fort Dodge website.
Okay.
Is probably our best location because it's difficult for us to do maps.
Yeah.
Because they become so detailed and you really have to
Yeah.
focus in on things. So we create these big maps, and then the only way you can really see them is if you go to a website and you get on the PDF and zoom in on the area that you really want to look at. So that's probably the best way to do that. But yeah, coming up for this year, we're doing street work on the south side of the community. So kind of what we call the South Central area. So a ton of work, going on down there, and then we do a 5-year capital improvements plan every year.
Okay.
And we update it every year. And so we know we have this roadmap of where we're going, what projects are coming, whether that's water main projects, because we have 3 of those coming. So, in Webster County is another important project is the roundabout project at Nelson Avenue and D14, right there by the corner of the airport.
That'll be so nice to have.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm waiting all the time to turn left there,
Yes.
Yes. And I know that roundabouts are controversial.
Yes. I don't know
But
why.
at the end of the day, they are significantly faster when you have that much traffic
Yes.
moving.
And safer, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All the studies show that, they are so much safer than a 4-way intersection or even a signalized intersection with a traffic signal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
don't have
it makes
people
you slow
running through
down.
it.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You can, but it's not
I
going to
mean,
be a good
Not
experience.
recommended.
It would be a rough ride.
Right,
That's for sure.
Yes. Yeah. So you're slowing down.
Yeah.
And so if you do have an accident, your accident occurs at 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Because we've had some, especially at that intersection, we've had some pretty significant accidents, and those have happened at 50 miles an hour. And so then that's not only property
Different
damage.
outcomes.
Yeah. Then you're talking injuries. And so if
Yeah.
you can have an accident at 10 miles an hour, you're going to get a fender bender, you can deal with that. And you're insured, if you're talking about loss of life or other injuries, that's not acceptable. So,
Yeah.
Right.
so yeah, the roundabout is cool because it's literally you drive to the roundabout, you look left and you turn right. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
I love it.
There's a spot between Eagle Lake, Minnesota, and Mankato, which is where I used to live. And there are quite literally 6 roundabouts, one after another. So it's not that bad, people. We could have 6 roundabouts, one after another.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another cool project, but that'll disrupt traffic for a good portion of the summertime. So and then it'll be interesting to see how we manage traffic. I say we, being the city, police department, highway patrol, when we get to the all-important girls state softball tournament, because that intersection is very important to the traffic going to Harlan Rogers. So stay tuned for that. That'll be.
I feel like you just gotta get a couple food vendors along the way, so when people are sitting in their cars, they can get a little snack.
Have a hot dog,
yeah.
get a little snacky.
That's a good idea.
I mean, just a thought.
Yeah,
Yes.
little fundraiser there.
Right?
Yeah,
Like
there you
that.
go.
Support the local businesses.
Yeah.
Oh,
that kind of thing.
goodness. I love that. Any other cool projects that you want to share with our listeners today, Chad?
Yeah, just I mentioned Harlan Rogers, so I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of could talk about that. Just, it's a transformation out there. It's going to be different
Really?
with the improvements to the fields, and going to basically 5 competition softball fields for girls state softball, and then for other tournaments they're going to be run out there. We're going to double the size of the parking lot. Just to accommodate, because you're going to have, because of girls state softball being double elimination now, those people are going to come back for multiple days. And so we need more parking. So, I mean, just those kinds of things, it just sets us up for a really cool venue to bring visitors to our community. So.
And then they're going to go to Corridor Plaza and maybe the river and all these things, maybe
Yes.
downtown.
Yes.
Boost
Yep.
Love
that
it.
economy.
You
I
bet.
love that.
Yeah. Yep. The
cool.
longer you can keep people in the community, probably the more money that they'll spend, and
then we can
more
fix those
things,
roads, right?
Then you
That's
can do
right.
that, and yeah,
Full circle.
yes, absolutely, yep.
I love that. Well, thank you for everything that you do. We work very close together, and we always enjoy working with your department and your team and all that you guys do. So thanks for that. And thanks for being on our podcast.
Yeah, this is my first experience with a podcast, so
Well, yeah,
I don't think it was too bad, and
No.
I guess I'll wait for the recording and see how.
Right.
It goes.
Oh, you'll be like, I did okay. You'll get real sick of your voice, though.
And absolutely don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with all of your closest friends and otherwise, and tune into next time to the Growth Alliance podcast.
Great.
And we can't not mention these beautiful flowers on our table.
Smell
Becker
beautiful.
Florist always hooks us up.
Yes, thank you
Definitely
so much.
nice and bright, and I don't know how. Like, do they spray things on them to make them smell that good?
I don't know, but I smelled them when I walked in the door today. They were just amazing.
Yep.
They just must have the magic touch.
So if you need a bouquet of flowers for anyone special in your life, call Becker.
Valentine's Day's coming up.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. I bet they're busy.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder.
There you go. I love it. Molly, are you listening? No. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we hope you have a good February. Every connection strengthens our community, and every conversation sparks new opportunities. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Alliance Connection.
Follow the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance online and on social media. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
I'm Astra,
I'm Katie,
and we'll see you next time.